So probability theory is kind of fun stuff, right? Counting, figuring out the odds, and so on. But one thing that often confuses people is this idea of figuring out the odds not as a percentage, like you've got an 8% chance of doing something, but instead figuring out your success to failure ratio, right? The odds of something happening versus something not happening. And they typically have a colon in there, right? Success versus failure. And that ratio is sometimes a little hard to figure out, but I want to emphasize this is just a fraction. And if we know how to do fractions, we know how to deal with that colon symbol thing. So in this example here, we've got Riverton High School, and they're holding a raffle for Silver Rush. Any student can buy a ticket. You can only buy one ticket. You can't buy a whole wheelbarrow full, but you can buy a ticket, and the winner is chosen randomly. So the question is, what are the odds in the grade and gender versus not in the grade and gender? Okay, and I'll explain what that means in a moment. What are the odds that the first student selected for the prize is a senior boy? Okay, well, I've got this useful data here that says, here's how many sophomore girls there were, here's how many junior girls there were, here's how many sophomore boys there were, and so on. So what are the chances of a senior boy? Well, it's just going to be 16%. That's the number of senior boys versus all the rest. Right? Those are your odds. 16% divided by all the other percents. So if you add up all the other percents, if I did this right, 8 plus 24 plus 12 plus 14 plus 26. Okay, great. So what you get is 16% senior boys, 84% who are not senior boys. In other words, when you set up the ratio using a colon, we're just saying 16 to 84. Right? Those are the odds phrased the way this problem wants. Now you'll notice that's not in our list. Okay, well, we do need to simplify fractions. You remember how to do that. 16 to 84 is equivalent, if I divide both sides by 2, to 8 against 42. Don't see that in your list either, because we can still keep simplifying this. That's 4 to 21. So your odds are 4 to 21. In other words, not great odds that there's going to be a senior boy. And maybe if the senior boys had the participation rate of junior boys, you'd have better odds, but that's what we're dealing with in this one. These odds problems, something success to failure, it's just a fraction.